We are now going to welcome back to the program, to the platform, Jalil Muntaqim, and in a way, yeah, definitely thumbs up. I don't know, there can't be too many better ways to recognize that Black August, the month that we're in, the time to reflect, fast, train, prepare, and to study. And so we're here specifically to talk about what you see over here with the QR code up. The We Are Our Own Liberators political education course is going to start early next month. And of course, to talk about that is joining me and us, former Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army, and former political prisoner and current educator, organizer, and activist, Jalil Muntaqim. Welcome back to the program. It's good to see you. Thank you again for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum, peace, prosperity, John Boy, Harim, Hafa Adea, Shalom, Guten Tag, whatever your native language is, I wish you peace and solidarity. Thank you, Gerard, for having me come back on again. I really appreciate this opportunity. You open with this September 3rd, we're going to be having a national book club. I've been asked to, I have done this twice so far. I did once in, I think, Texas and once in Boston, where we had the Jericho, part of our Jericho, having an organized Jericho movement. We read the book via Zoom. And so it's been asked of me, Jalil, it's time for us to do this again. Because, political education, a lot of people's not getting, the kind of political education that is responsive to the conditions that we're confronting today. All right. And so I've been asked to do so. So this time we said we're going to do it, but we're going to do it big. All right. We're going to, for all those who have received a copy or obtained a copy of the book, we're going to do a national reading together. Right. And hopefully, develop some understanding of what we're going to be facing, or what we are facing, as we see the empire imploding. Okay. And we have to understand what that means for us collectively. Right. And so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this reading, and hopefully we'll gain some broader understanding of how we all into this thing together. You know, and each of us have a part to play if we're going to survive this madness. All right. So yeah. So it'll be September 3rd, and it will be an 8-week program. Each week it will be on a Wednesday. Right. You have to be on it when we start. If you miss two sessions, you're gonna be removed. Okay, it's free class, but uh, so we're gonna really try to make this thing as open as we possibly can and discuss what was written. And be honest with you, maybe some of the language might be a little outdated, right? But we're gonna work around that. Right? We're gonna discuss how the language has changed, right, and how it has evolved over a period of time in regards to our struggle for resistance against the system of white supremacy and capitalist imperialism, colonialism, and yeah. So that's the deal.
No, right on. I look forward to it. 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. September 3rd is when it starts, and I did just reorder or order the updated edition. I don't think I had the latest. I believe it was the third edition.
Yeah, this is the latest. This is the third edition.
Yeah,
So
so I'm
you might
looking.
already have it, Gerard. If I'm, I think you already may have it, the third edition. But with the two, with your library as thick as it is, as large as it is, it might be buried someplace. But okay.
No, I mean, it's been a minute since I bought and read the book. So, well, look, if I, if I got an extra copy on the way, then that's great. And I look, I'll gift that, and then happily rejoin the discussion because It's been too long since I've read the book. I look
Yeah.
forward to rereading it.
Yeah.
Uh, so, well, can we just talk for a few minutes about what folks will be getting in the book and what you talk about in the book,
Oh,
and then uh, and obviously, and put it maybe in the context of Black August and what this month is meant to reflect. or get us to focus on. But I know there's plenty of that's relevant. I do remember there is something I would like to just ask off the top
Yeah,
that I
bro.
do remember off the just off the top of my head is one of my favorite parts, if not my favorite part, is the history you give in the book of actions taken uh, i- in defense against police violence against the Black community. And you make the point that from this, I think from early, I can't remember exactly, early 1970 to the mid to even late 1980s, that the sum total of these actions, I don't know if you were saying that this was the cause, but it ran parallel with a decrease in police violence against Black communities.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's not my saying. That's their saying. LEAA reports was the Law Enforcement Association or something or another, right? The Law Enforcement Association had that report. They stated that during the time that the Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army was functioning, that the murder of Black people decrease because they knew there were some people out there with possibility going to retaliate, going to respond to their impunity, their believed impunity to kill Black people. And so after they destroyed the Black Panther Party uh, uh, and the Black Liberation Army and imprisoned many of our comrades in political prisoners, made them political prisoners, the killing of Black people increased to the point where it is almost today. We find they're killing us daily across this country, you know. And so that is the one of the issues of why it is the necessity for us to resist, you know, at this point in time, because they are going on a killing spree, a purging, you might say, you know, and we have to be prepared for it. They're establishing these cop cities across the country. They're teaching law enforcement to engage in urban warfare. They have the CIA now and National Guard, CIA are functioning domestically. Uh, uh, we are in a serious way to go if we don't start beginning to the process of taking this thing seriously. What is happening in this country? We are under the reign of the Confederates, right? The people who believe in slavery, the people who believe in genocides. They now run this corporate entity that we call a government. And so we have some very serious problems that we're going to have to address, but we have to be very diligent, right? Um, for an example, um, the head of the military, this guy Hesbeck, right? He's a confirmed Nazi, right? And he controls the armed forces, the Navy, the Marines, the National Guard, the Army, Coast Guard. Another individual, I can't remember his name off the top of my head at this point in time, but he's head of the Center for Counterintelligence. He's a Proud Boy. And you imagine the kind of what they're teaching other Proud Boys across this country from how government functions in that capacity for counterintelligence. All right. Um, People are not taking seriously what is going on here. So, I mean, in my thinking, if they are, then we have to consider the necessity for us to get organized, you know, on a broad scale. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why the Spirit of Mandela Coalition has, and people's Senate organizing has moved towards, we're going to have a national mobilization on July 4th of 2026 in Atlanta, Georgia. National mobilization against genocides, right? Um, yeah. So these are people who believe in genocide. They believe in mass murder, right? They believe in slavery, right? They now control the government, and we have to be prepared for because after they get rid of who they want to get rid of in terms of and so doing, keep this in mind, they're getting rid of what they call immigrants, right? Because these are people that they know will be part of the resistance. So they're diminishing the resistance, the population of the resistance. That's part of the process. And they create these concentration camps. All right. Um, so we have to be very due diligence in regards to how we're going to move forward in resisting a system that's hell bent on re-enslaving us. I don't think there's no other two ways that we can say this. You know what I mean? Uh, they believe in slavery, and these are who controls the government. So,
So
but keep this in mind also, right? This nation has always been a slave nation. It has never not been a slave nation. Okay. But when they promulgated the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution in 1865, right, it stated specifically, right, slavery and voluntary servitude shall not exist except for those who have been duly convicted of a crime in the United States or in its jurisdiction. So essentially, he said they transformed slavery from chattel slavery to penal slavery. So slavery never was abolished in this country. All right, this is a slave nation. And those who control that know that. Okay, so so anyway, we have this book reading. We're gonna try to study and understand some of the dynamics of this history of resistance in this country. The book will cover. Let me see here. It's both essays and poetry, right, and poems. My I say novice approach at poetry. Uh, but it begins with Africans in diaspora and the black bourgeoisie, right? It talks about the issues of class struggle, right? And what we're confronting in terms of dealing with the black, so-called black oppressed people in this country, and how we've been divided and continue to be divided, and the necessity to challenging the black bourgeoisie. You know, uh, I think they're gonna be hard hit anyway. They're gonna try to find some place to go, the way this thing is going. But at any rate, you better get involved with this movement. Uh, that's what they should do, right? Uh, but nonetheless, we have to talk about it and what that all means. Um, of course, there's a chapter on the Black Liberation Army, as you alluded, and just dealt with some information that I was able to obtain from various law enforcement reportings, right, and recordings and things. And I was able to put in some kind of narrative outside of their narrative of the Black Liberation Army being terrorists and et cetera, right? And put a narrative that said these are resistance, these are freedom fighters, essentially, you know. Um, there's also a piece pertaining to international law and colonialism and how that applies, right, on one level or another. And this, so it goes on. We will discuss the entire book from cover to cover. And I'm certain that I will get a lot of feedback, which I encourage because I thrive off feedback. It helps keep me sharp, right?
yeah, I
Although
did
I'm
want to
not
ask, do you know
never
of anything? Are you already aware of anything that you are already have, like, have you has anything changed, or do you now disagree with anything that or I mean, you said a little bit ago that some of the language might be seen as I don't know, I forgot how you described it,
I
but
said dated.
dated. Is
Mhm.
there so other than updating some of the language, is there anything that you now see differently that you
Oh,
know off the
sure.
top of your head?
Of course, of course. I talked about the Maastricht Treaty, which was a treaty that was put together by Europe to create efforts to create what are called a united Europe, as opposed to dealing with the United States, right? And how that fell through. Uh, I gave it more credit than it actually uh, turned out to be. you know. But sometimes we can look at the evolving of certain pieces of the puzzle, right, both nationally and internationally, right. Certain things may shift, that you had missed, and I think that's one of them. The issues of building a one world government. Okay, although that's not as permanent of an idea as it was talked about previously, right? The world has become so fractured now in terms of these alliances or non-alliances, okay? Particularly as it's going to impress on the United States economy, all right? What's going on with BRIC as an example, and what's going on in the Sahel as an example, right? In parts of Africa, how are they going to resolve these differences when people are saying no more, no more, we're done? Okay, and so that's the issue that we have to address within the belly of the beast, right? Um, because the people on the international community, they are making moves because they see what's happening in this country, and they recognize that it's a necessity that this world power has gone berserk for the most part, right? And now it's time for them to recover what can be recovered, from their previous bargainings, with this imperialist monstrosity, right? And be able to salvage what they can as they see the empire imploding. Okay, so that's the bigger picture, of what we see going on. We can so some of that in the book, was not present. I wasn't there, in terms of my own understanding of international world affairs, and so that's one of the things that um, I you know I've learned from, as your question raised, right? That I've learned from, right? Some of the changing parts dialectically, right, have other influences, right? Uh, and who knew that it was going to be a Trump back when I wrote this book? You know what I mean? So
I
they,
mean,
that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Who knew? So although we got to get ready for it. We're here now, so we got to do what we got to do. Okay, so but anyway, so those are kind of
yeah. Anybody that claims that they saw this one coming is fronting, as far as I
yeah,
can tell.
yeah, fact. So
Come on now, nobody.
so there's some lessons to be learned, okay?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm always open to learn some lessons, bro. Because that's
yeah.
only way I'm gonna get sharper.
Right
Fact,
on.
you know.
So we're talking about the political education series of courses that you can sign up with through the QR code over here to my left, and starting September 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesdays, and you got to show up. And I appreciate that you all are doing it this way. The can't have people just coming and going as they please through the 8 weeks. You gotta be there. So please,
Yeah,
folks, sign up.
this is not entertainment. This is study. People
Yeah.
gotta understand that this is not entertainment, right? This is not edutainment, any of that.
Mm.
This is political science, right? We're going to class, yo. And if you're prepared to go to class, then you're in the wrong place. You can go back to TikTok, I guess. I don't know where, Instagram, wherever. You know,
Plenty
uh,
of places. There's plenty of places to go.
yeah, But no, this is about the work, and so
And if
yeah,
you do
be
need another,
serious.
if you do need a copy of the book, there's plenty of time
There's plenty of
between
time. Go to www.blackdragonmme.com.
the link. Yep.
www.blackdragonmme.com, and it should be in the QR code.
It's
All
in the
that information
QR
should be
code,
in there.
folks. When they scan that and sign up, there is a link to where you can get the updated edition and be fully prepared. I did, if we could just talk for a couple minutes about some of the folks that we see pictured behind you, the ongoing struggle of political prisoners. There are still folks from your generation locked up. There are those becoming political prisoners anew, so to speak. Uh, uh, and you started off by mentioning the Jericho movement work. Could you talk a little bit about, and maybe if you have any immediate off the top of your head updates on where folks are and the conditions of their situations, please let us know about that as well. But I believe that's Reverend Powell. Is that Kamal Siddiqui
Yes, Reverend
and
Powell,
Milal
Kamal
Amin?
Siddiqui.
Yeah,
Yeah,
behind you. So yeah,
Reverend Powell is still building her campaign to try and I think she's working towards clemency here in the state of New York. So she's building her campaign on that. Just as importantly is Kamal Siddiqui, right? Um, he's is now waiting to hear back from the pro board. He went to the pro board, I think, earlier this month, late last month, to the pro board. And his situation, the pro board where they function, is quite different than most pro boards that I went to, and I went to 14 of them, right? They just read the paperwork. You don't present yourself in front of them, all right, and that's problematic. And so in this instance, yeah, you just present the paperwork. and that's it. And so that's what I've been told. Okay, and so they read the paperwork and they make a determination. So he's waiting on his determination as to whether or not they're going to grant him release. A lot of people don't know who Kamal Siddiqui is. Kamal Siddiqui was a veteran member of Black Panther Party and Black Liberation Army. All right. He was captured early years. He was captured. He did his time. He went home. Went home, started establishing his family, reestablished himself in his community, right? And the FBI and the police department came to him and said, "Listen, we want you to help us set up Asada Shakur, who is our comrade, who is in exile in Cuba, safe in Cuba, right?" And he said, "If you don't set him up, if you don't work with us to do this, right, then we're going to put you back in prison, right, for the rest of your life." Right? That's what they told him, right? Why him? Well, he is the father of Asada Shakur's daughter. All right, they've had a close relationship both in the party and outside the party. Okay, and so um, he refused. I mean, it's not like we had a choice in the matter, right? A man of integrity, man of dignity, man who loved his children, and loved his family, right? Love his people, right? What else was he going to do? Right? He's not going to collaborate with those forces, right? And so we're fighting to get his release from prison for a crime that we know that he did not commit. Imam Jamil Alamin, um, formerly known as Rat Brown, right? Veteran member of our movement, right? Was the head of SNCC, our Student for Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, right? Was the Minister of Justice for the Black Panther Party at one point in time, right? An imam, an esteemed imam, valued imam in Atlanta, Georgia, right? Is now in prison for a crime that they know he did not commit because the person who did it confessed to it on national TV. So they know he did not commit the crime. Okay. And right now he's suffering from illnesses, right? And we're working on trying to get him out on compassionate release. Some efforts are being made to discuss the idea of getting him out on compassionate release. But there's other matters being done in his behalf that not being discussed, right? To get him out of prison, or just get him back down south, right? Here he's a state prisoner, but held in federal penitentiary. Okay. All right. And he's in ill health, right? And we need to get him out as soon as possible. So we ask brothers and sisters, go to the Jericho National Jericho campaign, right? Learn about these political prisoners, right? And support the work that we're trying to do to free our PPs, right? PPs, not POWs. Why is this important? Because they represent the best of us. These are the ones who is willing to put their life and liberty on the line in support of our struggle, or in support of our people. Right? We have no other obligations. If no other obligations, than to support our political prisoners. Because they are the heart. As Yuri Kochiyama, I just saw in a film, All Power to the People, right, stated, they are the heartbeat of our movement. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, so we got to free Mumia Abu Jamal. We got to feed JoJo Bowen. Right? There's a host of them. Go to our website, thejerichomovement.com, right, and learn more about the work of what we're doing for political prisoners. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to say that, because sometimes we are neglecting and they hurt inside. We got to get Kwame Shakur out, right? Kwame Shakur is a young brother. He used to be JD. He became politicized in prison, right? He's building programs in his community from inside prison. He established a PLM, Prisoners Lives Matter campaign while in prison. He was in solitary confinement for 7 years. You know, young brother, right? We need to get him out. We're working on a campaign now to try to work on getting him out. He has a summary of the wrongs that they did in his case, right? We need to get some legal assistance in order to get him out. Okay. I tried to deal with the National Lawyers Guild. I presented the information to the National Lawyers Guild. I presented this information to the National Conference of Black Lawyers, right? I'm waiting to hear back from either of them, right, to indicate that they are interested in his case, so we can try to get this young brother. He's an activist. He's a movement. He's a movement builder, right? Inside the institutions, inside the penal slave system. Okay, and we need to get that comrade out. So, and there's a bunch more. across the country. And naturally, because we're under these intense repressive, there could be more political prisoners, right? And so that's the reason why we have to. That's the reason why we have to build out Jericho, right? And the Northeast Political Prisoners Coalition, right? And the other PP support groups like the Atticus Federation and etc. We support political prisoners. We need to be able to converge and build our base in support because the number's going to increase. Okay. Uh, and of course, like I said earlier, we have this national mobilization in Atlanta, Georgia, on July 4th, 2026, right? National mobilization against genocides. Okay. Please get involved, right? You can go to spiritmandela.org and learn about this national mobilization. Okay. This is work. And if we don't do it, we're in a whole heap of trouble. Straight like that.
Well, Jalil Muntaqim, thank you very much. Always happy to help support these efforts. So we'll definitely continue to follow and stay in touch. Put the links to all of those efforts in the show description as well. And is there anything else that you would want to leave us with before we wrap for this session? And then we'll look to catch up with you. And again, folks, sign up, QR code over there, and join the work, as you said, this serious work.
Yeah. I just want the brothers and sisters out there who are have any affiliation with the street tribes, right? With the young people, right? Get them involved. Figure out a way. Get them engaged. Okay. They are the next generation. I remember when I was a gang, right? When I was in my teens. Okay. So I know what it's like to be a part of something. We want to be part of something. Okay. But let's be a part of something that's going to be working for the benefit of our communities, right? And don't be a dupe for the government, right? Particularly in terms of selling drugs, right? Why is that important? Because your selling drugs supports the oppression of you. Okay, they bring the drugs in. We know that. We know the CIA brought drugs into this country. They bring drugs in this country. How we know? They make movies about it. Freeway Rick and the rest of them idiots. All right. So that's my parting word to our community. Right. Get our babies. They're going after our children. Okay. School to prison pipeline. Right. That's not no joke. That's not school to prison. A school to prison. That's school to slavery. All right. It's in the law. It's not what Jalil saying. It's the law. School to slavery. So we got to really look at the reality of what we're confronting. All right. So that's my point where get our babies. We're losing them. All right. I live in Rochester, and Rochester has the third highest infant mortality rate in New York State. We're losing our babies. All right. So so that's my parting words, comrade. Right. All power to the people.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, that set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? everything, 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 everything.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.